Hello, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your timeless message from your future self. And the reason why this reading is timeless is because it is relevant for whenever you stumble upon this video and decide to view it. It is a collective general reading, so as the messages come through today, take what fits and leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else. And of course, check your other placements. If you're not sure what they are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Virgo collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is Virgo's message from their future self? What would Virgo's future self like to tell them at the time that they view this reading? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Release, card number 39. And at the bottom of the deck, you have Community, card number 10. So I'm going to read to you the definitions of these cards from the Urban Crow Oracle book, and then we're going to dive deep into tarot to get a clearer message for you. Card number 39, Release. When the time comes when you cannot grieve anymore, it is time to let go. Release is the next step. This card may come to you when you need help moving forward or accepting an ending. It is time to move on, rise up, and release yourself from the past. Release represents the transition between letting go and moving on. It is that moment when we become aware that we can no longer hold on to the past or an event that cannot be altered. You may need to consider if your situation is blocked or impacted by something that needs to be released. Card number 39. I'm sorry, that was card number 39. Your next card is card number 10, Community. Here in the Seattle area, we have 3 big roosts. The largest, I believe, is the one at the UW Bothell campus. Each of these roosts serves as a community. It is a sanctuary. It is a place for the crows to retreat to in the evening where they are accepted and comforted. Lean on your community. Lean into the groups of people who you feel most at peace with during times of friction or stress. When you pull community, think of it as a nudge to connect with a group that interests you. Not only will you find new opportunities there, you will become part of a group focused on a similar goal. Community may also indicate that you would benefit from examining your relationships within a group or a belief system. Are your goals and beliefs in alignment with the group's philosophy? Do you remain within a community because it is simply part of your history, but your involvement or participation is limited, and as a result, you feel disconnected? You may need to consider if the philosophy of a community that you no longer connect with is still impacting your decision and your perception of events. Very interesting message here for the Virgo collective. So Virgo, I feel like there's a connection in your life to a particular person or a group of people. And I'm not sure if they're still in your life or if you're just still holding on to that time in your life when you were with them. But there's definitely something here from your past that you're clinging to that you need to release. Let's clarify this more with tarot. Clarify card number 39, please, Release, as well as card number 10, Community. For the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Please clarify this message from their future self. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your first card out is the Queen of Pentacles. That's you, whether you are masculine or feminine. The 10 of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. In the bottom row, you have the Page of Swords, you have the Empress, and you have the 4 of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, you have the 2 of Wands, you have the Ace of Pentacles, and you have the Knight of Swords. That leaves Justice, 9 of Wands, and the Chariot to the 2 of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. We're going to clarify this now using the After Tarot deck. The images in this deck are different, as are the meanings, and we'll go through them as necessary for your reading today. Clarify this message from Virgo's future self. For Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus, we are clarifying Queen of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Swords, the Empress, and the 4 of Wands for the Virgo collective. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Queen of Pentacles is clarified by the Knight of Cups. The 10 of Cups is clarified by the 3 of Swords. The Wheel of Fortune is clarified by the Devil. The Page of Swords is clarified by the 5 of Cups. The Empress is clarified by the Page of Pentacles. And the 4 of Wands is clarified by the King of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, you have Temperance, You have the Five of Swords, and you have the Ten of Pentacles. That leaves the Nine of Wands, Six of Wands, Six of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. I feel like this is more like an experience or a memory from your past. It could be good, it could be bad, but I think you're clinging to it. And it has become part of your identity. I remember having a friend once who was going through cancer. And from that moment on, even when she went into remission and she healed, she always from that moment on identified herself as a cancer patient. I know another woman whose husband passed very early on in their marriage. 20 years later, she still identifies as a widow. And then I know a gentleman who goes to the local bar who's in his 60s and still talks about his glory days when he was a quarterback on the football team. There's some kind of memory or experience like that that has shaped to mold who you are today, but you're clinging to that identity, or you have allowed that memory or experience to become your identity. I want to say that it's time to move forward, not to create a new identity for yourself, but to create a new story. You're no longer that person. It'll always be part of your history. It'll always be a memory, and certainly one that you can share on occasion, but it's no longer who you are. There's a new you that is trying to emerge, but it's kind of trapped within this label that you put on yourself. If this message is yours, hang in there with me. Let's begin to clarify this. Ten of Cups. Tell me about the Ten of Cups. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Ten of Cups is clarified by the Three of Cups, the Lovers, and the Six of Cups. Bottom of the deck, you have Nine of Pentacles. Clarify the Three of Swords. Yeah, there's something here from your past. And I think for most of you, it was something good. For the majority of you, it was something good, but you continue to identify as it. It's like that's how you label yourself. When you introduce yourself, this is how people know you. And it's like, okay, that's who you were back then, but who are you today? Because you have achieved a lot since then. It's like someone who spends time in jail. They do their time. And then 30 years later, they still present themselves as an ex-con. They're not an ex-con anymore. They are and they aren't. But it's not who they are today. They've had 30 years of growth since then and now. So there's something like that. And even if it was a positive experience, which I think for most of you, this was a positive experience, a positive connection, a place where you worked, being the quarterback of the football team, but you continue to identify as that. And I think it's time that you release that label from your identification, because there's so much more to you than that. And there's so much more that you can be, but you keep yourself restricted with this label. And it keeps you tied to a community or something from the past that no longer even aligns to you or is relevant. And I think it holds you back from meeting some new people or having some new experiences. Tell me more about that Three of Swords there. One more shuffle. Thank you. You have the Fool, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Cups again. Bottom of the deck, the Four of Pentacles. So I'm definitely speaking to a group of you where a chapter of your life has closed out a long time ago. You're already on the Fool's journey, meaning your life has already started over. This chapter is closed out. And for 80% of you watching, this was something good. And for 20% of you watching, something not so good. But you continue to label yourself like that, going back to those glory days or going back to those tragic days. And it's like, yes, that will always be a part of you, but that's not who you are today. Four of Pentacles, you're holding on to this. Now, for some of you, it could be because you're existing in a victim mentality. Please don't get offended and click off. And so you're continually identifying as this. And for others of you, you could feel that that experience that you had was like the highlight of your life. And so you continue to cling to being the quarterback of the football team. So if I go back to this gentleman locally that I know that hangs out at the bar, who's in his 60s and talks about something that he experienced and did and the success that he had, 50 years prior, almost 50 years prior, he's missing out on telling us about the last 50 years of his life. He became a consultant for IBM. He traveled the world. He doesn't sit there and tell us about his experiences when he traveled to France or Germany or Italy. I know about them because I kind of got it out of him over the last 6 years of chatting with him. But most people, when they walk in there and they just, you sit up, pull up a bar stool next to someone and start having casual conversation, that is the one and only thing he talks about is this glory days. And it's like, you've had a whole life since then. You got married, you had kids. You're no longer that person, even though it's part of your identity. And so it's like something he's holding on to that he really needs to release. And the After Tarot deck, the Four of Pentacles, this identity that you're holding on to is met here by the Grim Reaper, just scorpionic energy from the Death card. So it's like time to let go of this part of your identity. You can take the memories, and again, it'll always be part of you. It's not who you are today. You're not a victim today. Today, you're a survivor. You're not a football quarterbacker today, and that's okay. Today, you're a retired contractor. There's something about being proud about who you are today and changing the label or changing the way you present yourself to people. Clarify the Wheel of Fortune. I think like this is the time now for you to detach from this. It's actually a toxic quality that you have. And I say that because in the After Tarot deck, typically what we see is a devil standing or sitting over a podium or on a podium, and two people are shackled to the devil or shackled to one another. But in the After Tarot deck, they're freed. So it's like this is a time to free yourself from that old version of yourself or that past experience that you had. It's like you're no longer that person. Wheel of Fortune. This is the time to release that, to stop identifying yourself as that, to stop living in the past. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Wheel of Fortune is clarified by the Six of Pentacles, the Magician, which is you, and the Hierophant. Bottom of the deck, Four of Pentacles. Time to let go of the old story of this is who you are. Is it part of who you are? Did it help make you or mold you or shape you into the person you are? Absolutely. But it does not define you. And you're actually shortchanging yourself of these other qualities and experiences that you've had that do make up who you are. Again, you're not a victim, you're a survivor. Tell me more about that Devil card. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Devil is clarified by the Page of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune again. Bottom of the deck, Two of Wands, which in this deck is called Future Planning. So there is something here about moving forward and no longer anchoring yourself to a version of yourself that existed back then that no longer does. I also think that by doing this, you actually have blocked abundance because you're not showing up or showcasing yourself as someone today that stands in their own right and does ABC or has had this particular experience or is currently living in the moment. Like I feel like I tapped into a group of you. Everything's always in the past. This happened to me in the past. This is what I used to do for a living in the past. And I actually think it's a block to financial abundance. Because you're not existing in the now and you're not future planning for the future. You're kind of stuck in this loop. Tell me about the Page of Swords. It's almost like time for you to speak differently of yourself, to introduce yourself differently, to identify differently. Page of Swords. Tell me about the Page of Swords here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Page of Swords is clarified by the Six of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Moon. Bottom of that, Queen of Cups. Tell me about the Five of Cups. Tell me about the Five of Cups here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Five of Cups is clarified by the Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the King of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Seven of Swords. It's time for you to stop sabotaging your growth, your future, your abundance. I think you're living too small because you have created a label for yourself based upon your past experiences and you're still living in that persona. And it's like, that's who you were then, but who are you now? If you're able to learn this lesson, if you can take this message from your future self, actually step into your power and say, I'm not going to identify anymore as a former addict or the high school, linebacker or, whatever. If you're able to actually hear this, I think it opens up financial abundance because, and I just have to ask for someone watching, do you know who you are today without that label? because you're not that person anymore. You're not living that experience anymore. So who are you today? Had that event or experience, if it never happened, if it had never occurred, who are you today? You're still somebody. You're still somebody worth expressing yourself like, this is who I am. Four of Wands. Yeah, who would you be without that experience? Who are you now? That's the story I feel you need to share. Four of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Four of Wands is clarified. Again, that King of Swords, Judgment, and the Nine of Pentacles. I really think that living in the past or labeling yourself this way has restricted your resources. And even if you're not verbally like the gentleman at the local bar, you know, identifying, labeling himself from, you know, something that he did 50 years ago, it's even just how you speak to yourself that you keep reliving a past event here. Either way, the past is a block to your financial abundance. It's like once you can speak your story differently, present yourself differently, it's you, I don't know, it's like you open up a floodgate here, a new opportunity. One more shuffle. Thank you. High Priestess, Strength, and a Star. Bottom of that Queen of Pentacles. I really think this has been a financial block for you, Virgo. So whatever this is for you, a job that you had, an experience you had, for good or for bad. If it's part of your past and you're no longer part of that community, you're no longer at that job or in that industry, your life has moved on, you've had new experiences, I would start talking about who you are today. I would start presenting yourself as the person you are today and drop the label of the past, drop the identification marker of the past. You're no longer that person. Allow yourself to exist in the present. Be proud of who you are today. And I think you're going to watch a whole new community come into your life. New opportunities, new financial abundance, and even some new soulmates. But it all begins with you releasing the past and beginning to identify as who you are in the present. Let's get you 3 cards of advice here, my love. 3 cards of advice here for the Virgo collective. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Ace of Pentacles. Everything I said is the truth. There are only 4 aces in tarot in a 78 card deck. So whenever one comes out after I say something, I feel like it's the universe doubling down. Like, good job channeling the message, Jen. Even through Mercury retrograde. The Empress shows itself again. And the 9 of Pentacles, your financial abundance. Bottom of the deck is the Chariot. Time for you to identify as something different, someone different, who you are today, not who you were in the past. I have a friend now who identifies themselves as not by their name. When I introduce him to people, he identifies himself as, he says his father's name. I'm the son of blank, or I'm so-and-so's son, because his father is well known. And it's like, okay, yeah, you are the son of blank, right? You are so-and-so's son, but who are you? I'm introducing you to someone. And instead of saying, you know, hi, my name is blank, I'm Jen's friend, or hi, my name is blank, I'm visiting from out of town, he says, my name is blank, my father is so-and-so. It's like lose that label. Be proud of who you are without the label. And watch some new gateways and doorways open that bring in new financial abundance. It's time for you to release the past. At the very least, stop living in it. And stop identifying yourself as someone who's still back there. You aren't. That's what I have for you, Virgo. That is your message from your future self. If you like that message, it resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, or maybe you just found it to be helpful, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And until I read for you again, be gentle with yourself. And as always, I'm sending you light, love, and peace.